From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Pope Leo XIV promises to work for the unity of a polarized Catholic Church as world leaders gather at the Vatican in Rome for his installation as the 267th Pope in the history of the Church. President Bola Tinubu, after attending the Pope's inauguration, says his administration is committed to building bridges across race, faith and continent for peace, progress and all humanity. Vice President Kashim Shettima declares open the 22nd National Sports Festival in Abeokuta, the state capital, where athletes from all over the country will slug it out for medals in the next or over the next 2 weeks. And former US President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's according to a statement from his office on Sunday. We begin from outside our shores, and that's the Vatican City, where a momentous gathering at St. Peter's Square of over 100,000 faithful today witnessed the historic inauguration of Pope Leo XIV. The newly installed pontiff used the occasion to set a bold agenda for his papacy, denouncing the exploitation of the vulnerable, condemning authoritarianism, and calling urgently for global peace. Among the distinguished guests were world leaders, including Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, who joined top church officials at the iconic St. Peter's Basilica for the solemn outdoor ceremony, officially appointing Pope Leo as shepherd to 1.4 billion Roman Catholics worldwide.
In the heart of Vatican City, history is made at St. Peter's Square. A crowd of more than 100,000 faithful, alongside dignitaries from around the world, gather to witness a sacred milestone, the inauguration of Pope Leo XIV. His arrival is met with cheers, riding in the Pope Mobile. Pope Leo XIV greets the faithful with a warm smile and humble gestures, hallmarks of a shepherd stepping into a global spiritual leadership. Before the ceremony begins, the Pope pauses at the tomb of St. Peter, offering silent prayer beneath Michelangelo's masterpiece in the Sistine. Then, in a solemn procession, accompanied by cardinals and bishops, he walks into the square, stepping out of the church and into the world to begin a ministry rooted in 2,000 years of apostolic tradition.
Libro de los Hechos de los Apóstoles.
The inauguration mass begins. The first scripture reading is delivered in Spanish, followed by our reading in English from the first letter of St. Peter. And then, the most symbolic moment of the day, the bestowal of the papal emblems.
Liturgical insignia of the Roman pontiff.
First, the pallium, a white wool vestment adorned with black crosses, symbolizing Christ's call to be the good shepherd.
Of the Lamb. Cardinal Tagle.
Next, the fisherman's ring, featuring St. Peter casting his net, engraved with the Pope's name, Leo XIV. It will serve as his official seal. Lastly, the Book of the Gospels, representing the foundation of his mission to proclaim the word of God. It's an emotional moment for Pope Leo XIV as he receives the papal emblem.
Cari fratelli cardinali.
In his first papal homily, delivered in Italian, Pope Leo said he begins his ministry with a heart full of gratitude.
This is the missionary spirit that must animate us, not closing ourselves off in our small groups, nor feeling superior to the world. We are called to offer God's love to everyone in order to achieve that unity which does not cancel out differences, but values the personal history of each person and the social and religious culture of every people. Brothers and sisters, this is the hour for love. The heart of the gospel is the love of God that makes us brothers and sisters.
In his final blessing, Pope Leo XIV called on the global community not to forget those suffering amid conflict in Gaza, Myanmar, and Ukraine.
Gaudete letare Virgo Maria, Alleluia.
And following the Mass, the Pope received world leaders inside the Sistine Chapel. Among them, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, Gabon's Brice Oligui Nguema, and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky. The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV marks the beginning of a new chapter, ushering in the pontification of the first American to lead the Roman Catholic Church.
Staying with the inauguration mass of the Catholic Pontiff, President Bola Tinubu has emphasized that Nigeria must continue to work on achieving national unity, adding that it's a work in progress for the sake of the country and the continent as a whole. Speaking after witnessing the historic inauguration of Pope Leo XIV, along with other world leaders, President Tinubu described his visit to the Vatican as being consistent in the true sense of unity in diversity. Our SEDAS correspondent Larry Lassisi reports.
President Bola Tinubu arriving at St. Peter's Square, the Vatican City, for the historic inauguration of Pope Leo XIV. He's led in and joins other world leaders for the event. In front of over 1,000 visitors and Catholic faithful, the Mass is observed, a ceremony of color and deep spiritual significance. Afterwards, the Pope had a private moment with President Tinubu. The President also met with former Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi and the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi at the event. Speaking with correspondents afterwards, the President touched on the significance of his visit on national unity.
It's consistent in the true sense of unity in diversity, and I'm greatly honored. We have to continue to work on it. It's a work in progress for the sake of our country and the continent as a whole.
Other members of the delegation also spoke on the symbolism of the visit.
He has shown this solidarity with the millions of people who are of the Catholic faith in Nigeria by attending this Mass, being himself a Muslim.
What he has gone to show is that all of us Nigerians, either we are Christians or Muslims, we are worshiping the same God. And that by honoring the invitation from the Pope to attend this event is to further show Nigerians that we all belong to the same, we are the same people. We may have different religions, we may have different perspectives about God, but we are worshiping one God. And that's what he has shown by coming to this event.
It changes the perception that Nigeria has this, everlasting sectarian conflict between Christian and Muslim. So it shows that the Vatican, the Papal, can see it fit to invite the president to represent the great country of Nigeria and show the fact that religion, freedom of religion, is something that is prevalent and is also recognized by the leadership of Nigeria.
Later in the day, the president met with members of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, who were part of his delegation to Rome. During the meeting, President Tinubu urged Nigerians to use their diversity for the country's stability and rapid development. The president also issued a stirring call to leaders at all levels to work for the betterment of the citizenry. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
Back home, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has identified low level of living illiteracy as the major causes of insecurity in the Northwest region. Now, the governor, who was a guest on our political program, Sunday Politics, however, says the federal government is working hard to surmount the challenge. According to Governor Sani, latest statistics shows that the number of out-of-school children, amongst other indicators, have reduced drastically.
The poverty index we met 2023 when we came in. I have the statistics, I have the data, I have the numbers. Today I can tell you things are getting better, but nobody can tell you we can address this problem even in the next 10 years. And I will tell you why. Because I'm a very realistic person. When we came in, we had over 60 to 65% of our people that are completely financially excluded, many in northern part of Nigeria, particularly in Northwest. And because of this problem of insecurity, which I can tell you, largely is an economic issue because of poverty, unemployment. That was the reason why our people can easily be recruited by these bandits. That was the issue of out-of-school children. When I came in Kaduna, what we met, I can tell you, over 350,000 of our people were out of school when we came in. Today, we're addressing the problem gradually. When I sat down 2 months ago with the vice president of the World Bank, we sat down, we looked at the UNICEF statistics, and I can tell you, out of the 18.2 million of out-of-school children, 7 years ago or 6 years ago, when we look at the figures, they are not as much as 18.2 million as of today. North were responsible for about 70%. Today, the figure is different.
And sharing news for sports lovers in the country, Vice President Kashim Shettima has declared open the 22nd National Sports Festival tagged Gateway Games 2024 open in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The opening ceremony begins with the theme song and a match pass by all the 36 states, including the FCT, which is held at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. In his welcome address, Governor of the host state, Dapo Abiodun, urged the athletes to compete with fairness while promising a peaceful event in Ogun.
Dear athletes, I urge you to compete with integrity and honor. Sports should be a reflection of our highest values of fairness, respect, and perseverance. The most important thing in the Olympics, they say, is not to win, but to take part. Just as the most important thing in life is not the triumph, but the struggle. Let these words inspire us throughout this festival. Our national development depends on peaceful coexistence, and sports remains one of the most powerful platforms for fostering national unity. I assure you that the Ogun State government, in collaboration with national security agencies, has deployed a robust security framework to ensure a safe, peaceful, and enjoyable event for all. As we mark this turning point in Nigerian sporting history, I assure you that the next 10 days will dazzle us with unimaginable talent, remarkable performances, record-bearing feats, passionate displays, and the true spirit of sportsmanship.
During the event, the Vice President, who represented President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, reiterated the commitment of the federal government towards developing the sports economy for unity, cohesion, growth, and development.
This festival is not just about competition. It is a tribute to our unrelenting commitment to preserving the spirit of sponsorship, to investing materially and emotionally in a practice that defines us as a people. The games may be hosted here in Ogun State, but the excitement reverberates across the Federation. It is proof that sports remains one of the most powerful forces for national cohesion. As we commence this festival of strength and spirit, let the torch we light today symbolize more than the start of games. Let it shine as a bond of diversity. May it remind every young Nigerian that greatness is not a distant dream, but a prize within reach. With these words, and with immense pride in the spirit of our athletes and the strength of our nation, it is my singular honor and privilege to relish and cherish forever. On behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, declare the 22nd National Sports Festival officially open.
In part two, after the break, Nigeria police announces arrest of 2 kidnappers who invaded Tungan Boka and Masaha villages in Niger State. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. A reminder of our main stories. Pope Leo XIV promises to work for the unity of a polarized Catholic Church as world leaders gather at the Vatican in Rome for his installation as the 267th Pope in the history of the Church. President Bola Tinubu, after attending the Pope's inauguration, says his administration is committed to building bridges across race, faith, and continent for peace, progress, and all humanity. Vice President Kashim Shettima declares open the 22nd National Sports Festival in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, where athletes from all over the country will slug it out for medals over the next 2 weeks. And former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's according to a statement from his office on Sunday. The Nigerian Army and other security agencies have convened a meeting with farmers and herders in Riom in Jos, South local government areas of Plateau State, as part of efforts to address the renewed hostilities in some communities in those areas. During the meeting, the commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Fulusha Oyinlola, expressed concerns over the prevailing acts of farm destruction and cattle rustling, which he says triggers crises.
The General Officer commanding 3 Division Nigerian Army and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Folusho Onyilola, alongside other security heads in Plateau State, are meeting with farmers and herders to strategize on how to quell the renewed crisis in Riyom and Jos South local government areas of the state. Religious and community leaders, youth representatives, and government officials are also in attendance. The commander emphasizes the importance of community-based conflict resolution mechanisms where traditional and community leaders take proactive approach to address issues before escalating to crisis level.
I must express the concerns of security agencies about the prevailing acts of farm destruction and cattle rustling in parts of Riyom local government area. These activities majorly contribute to the triggers of crisis and should be rightly condemned to foster mutual understanding and respect between herders and farmers.
The State Commissioner of Police also urged aggrieved persons to make complaints to appropriate quarters rather than resort to self-help and reprisals.
If you are aggrieved, don't take laws into your hand. Take your complaint to the security agencies and they will look into it and justice will be served.
Both the farmers and herders attending the meeting prescribe mutual respect and understanding among citizens as vital keys to resolving their differences.
Peace is very important. That is why we are seeking for peace to reign in Plateau State. And solution is that let us respect ourselves. Let us stay in peace.
When we all agree that it is not good to kill, then we'll have solution. But when we keep hiding the people, then the perpetrators will continue to do it again.
The Joint Security Task Force in Plateau State is optimistic that this non-kinetic engagement with key actors in the state will lead to restoration of peace, particularly in communities ravaged by insecurity.
While the military met in Plateau to discuss security, the Nigeria police has announced the arrest of 2 suspected kidnappers who invaded Tunga, Boka and Masaha villages of Mashegu local government area of Niger State and kidnapped 7 persons. A statement from the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, says operatives of the Niger State Police Command, in collaboration with local security teams, mobilized for a rescue operation and trailed the suspected kidnappers to a forest within Tungamboka village where they were engaged in a gun duel. The statement adds that in the ensuing duel, the kidnappers were overpowered and the 7 kidnapped persons were rescued unhurt. The statement further adds that in Plateau State, police operatives attached to the state command raided a criminal hideout along Bochi Road in Jos North local government where an abandoned ash-colored Golf wagon was recovered. A subsequent search of the vehicle led to the discovery of 500 rounds of 7.65mm ammunition. The 19 northern governors, in collaboration with the chairpersons of the Northern States Traditional Rulers Council, have called for accelerated action in tackling the region's security challenges. The governors also called on the National Assembly to expedite action on the enactment of the legal framework for the takeoff of state police. Tonight, we search for more answers on the outlook for state policing. Babajide Oguso, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's chief data analyst, is right here to share more analysis and intelligence about the future of state policing across northern Nigeria. Babajide, good to have you again on the News at 10.
Good evening, Ayatunde.
So we're looking at the issue of state policing. Well, first of all, what's the position of the president regarding this? Of course, during his campaign, he talked about this. Is there any way to know, really, what he will do on this subject at this present time and going forward?
It's tough. The president is being very careful with his choice of words. We'll share some of what he has said on state policing very soon. But Ayatunde, on state policing, there's good news, and now we have bad news. Now, the good news is more people are coming on board and agreeing to the state policing idea. The bad news is even many more people, much more than those that are agreeing, do not agree on how it should be implemented. So yes, we have some more people agreeing to state policing, but you have a lot more that do not agree on how it should be implemented. Why? One key word: uncertainty. And by uncertainty, when the president and his handlers and the viewer, in reality, when they talk about state policing, what it is interpreted to mean is we want to take some of your powers. And indeed, if you look at the evidence of a lot of the countries where state policing is implemented, the state governors, the mayors are significantly stronger, often challenging the president. So we might be moving from a situation where we will have 36 state governors to 36 state presidents, because yes, without mixing words, state governors will become significantly stronger to even challenge the authority of the president, and the president will be weaker. Second reason, the constitutional amendment process is highly uncertain. But perhaps the third and most important reason, Ayotunde, is we are yet to answer that question of what will happen if state policing does not work. Now, let's take a look at some of the leaders' comments on state policing and to be able to understand what each person's position is. And like you said, to clearly see what the president has said. The president has been diplomatic right from the campaign program, preferring to talk more about positioning the institution to better deliver on its primary duties of community policing and maintaining law and order through crime fighting and prevention. So without clearly saying, I am for state policing or I am not for state policing, that's the president's position. President Buhari, more explicit, saying that state police is not an option, talking about the relationship between local governments and the governors, and asking the question that, are the third tier of government getting what they are supposed to get constitutionally? Are they getting it? And that's from the President Muhammadu Buhari, and it says, let the people in the local government tell you the truth. President Obasanjo's position is for state policing. He says that our situation in Nigeria concerns everyone, particularly the case of terrorism. The case has gotten over the issue of community police. It is now state police. It is from the state police that we can talk about community policing. President Jonathan has made it very firm. The issue on the need of states to have their own police is not negotiable. And if we take a look at the National Assembly's position, they are more diplomatic, looking at the statement from Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, that says, let me state categorically that the House and indeed the National Assembly do not have a fixed position. So clearly, that is what we have on the matter as at this moment. Again, President keeping his decisions diplomatic, understanding the opportunities and indeed the threats.
All right, so it will appear that the northern governors are all for the state policing, calling for state policing, but some say this is a pre-2027 election talk just to get votes. Babajide, what are the facts right now?
There are three things that quickly come to my mind. My first is, if we say yes to state police, can we say no to local government policing? The second, Ayotunde, is the states have already had state policing, but they haven't realized. What do I mean? Poverty policing was meant to have stopped poverty from spreading across the northern states. Did our poverty police system work? We need to ask ourselves, has our infrastructure policing system in the north worked? Has our out-of-school children policing, pretty much a system that's meant to stop more children from getting more children into schools, as it worked? Portable water policing to stop waterborne diseases. So what we need to ask ourselves is, if all of these pseudo-policing systems, which indeed they are, have not worked, why will our criminal policing system work? Let's not forget, creating a system today, clearly different from running a system. Let's take a look even at how will the states be able to fund this policing system. And if we take a look at some of the facts, it allows us to answer the question that, how feasible is it from the chart of the week? Let's look at the facts. We have Lagos State. If we take a look at the state IGR, 816 billion naira today. The IGR of Lagos State is more than all the 19 northern states combined. In simple terms, what Lagos earns as IGR in 1 month takes about all the 19 states combined about 2 months to earn that. So looking at the IGR perspective, and Lagos is still saying it needs to grow its IGR significantly to be able to achieve its goals. If we take a look at the next chart, which looks at beyond IGR, look at the state budget. Lagos State this year has a budget of 3.3 trillion naira. Look at the states in the Northwest region, excluding Kano and Katsina, looking at all the other states, Kebbi, Kaduna, Jigawa, Sokoto, Zamfara, their budget now up to Lagos State. The North Central.
Lagos is really doing a lot.
Lagos. And this is a Lagos State that is saying its budget is insufficient, and we have a Lagos State whose budget is even more than the budget of all the northeastern states combined. You know,
we're really running out of time. But before you go on, let me just, as we round off, I mean, look at the military. We know that over time, they've been trying to handle some cases, or solving some security issues that normally would have left in the hands of the police. So tell us, what are the civil military, collaboration programs looking like? Popularly, what we refer to as non-kinetic.
That is a lot of good news coming from the National Defense Headquarters. If we take a look, remember about 24 months ago when the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, came in, there were three things he talked about. When we talk about civil military programs, it was citizen health programs, community development programs, and yes, he talked about peace development and negotiation programs. The feedback we have currently is that a lot of those programs are being successful, and his position today is that every player and indeed fan has a role in the success of a football team. This is the same principle of national security and defense. And just before you go, Ayotunde, if there's one final analysis that we need when we talk about state policing, Ayotunde, it is that the first type of policing we need in Nigeria is truth policing, because the truth, more than any other thing else, is under attack. So what we need to protect first is to protect the truth, and every other thing shall follow.
I will leave it at that. Babajide Ogunsanya, thank you once again for your analysis on the News at 10.
The pleasure is all mine.
Still ahead on the News at 10, former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's according to a statement from his office on Sunday. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Accountability Project, SARAP, has called on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to explain the alleged disappearance of 500 billion naira in revenues as revealed by the World Bank. In a letter addressed to the NNPCL CEO, Mr. Bayo Ojulari, SARAP demanded a full accounting of the missing funds from October to December 2024, urging him to identify those responsible and to involve the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, that's the ICPC, for investigation. The World Bank disclosed that out of 1.1 trillion naira generated by the NNPCL in 2024, only 600 billion naira was remitted to the Federation account, leaving a gap of 500 billion naira unaccounted for. SARAP insists this failure undermines Nigeria's economic development and violates constitutional and anti-corruption laws. They also warned that legal action will be taken if the issue is not addressed within 7 days. To the legislature now in Benue, where the State House of Assembly has promised to speed up the passage of the Disability Bill to address concerns over the discrimination of persons with disability in the state. This is part of the outcome of a one-day technical review session with stakeholders held in Makurdi, the Benue state capital.
The Benue State Government and the Joint Association of Persons with Disabilities are here to interface with the State Disability Bill. Representatives of the State Commissioner for Justice says the meeting aims to find a common ground.
I hope that ultimately at the end of the day, we are going to have a document that will speak to the peculiar needs of persons with disability. And it's going to be a masterpiece that other states of the Federation will have to make recourse to.
Civil society organizations and persons with disability underscore the importance of having a disability law in place in Benue State.
Let's make sure that what comes out today, out of this review, is something that we can all stand behind and push. It is something that we can say collectively, this is a representation of us. This speaks to our needs and this speaks to our peculiarities.
What we are doing today ordinarily should have been a public hearing. but we have stepped it down to a technical review, which is, to me, very apt. I cannot thank the state government enough for making this bill an executive bill.
The legislative and the executive arms of government in the state are on the same page with the bill as they address concerns raised.
After this, we'll go for the final third reading, which will pass and then transmit to the executive governor for his accents. And we believe that this bill would seek to look at the rights of the people living with disabilities and to make sure we enforce those rights.
We're working on the national IDP policy. Is all part of what we do. We're working on the social protection bill. Is all part of what we do. So we're supporting all of this.
Key provisions of the disability bill include the prohibition of discrimination and mandatory inclusion of accessibility in public buildings, creation of employment opportunities for the disabled, and the establishment of institutional support systems.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, that's the NDDC, says it will sustain its investment in the education of Niger Delta youth as part of its human capital development drive across the oil-rich region. The NDDC Managing Director, Samuel Ogbuku, gave the assurance during the NDDC-sponsored 2025 moot court and mock trial competition for universities in the Niger Delta, which held in Port Harcourt, River State. Mr. Ogbuku, who was represented by the Commission's Executive Director, Finance and Administration, Boma Iyaye, says the NDDC's strategic role in the development of education is igniting sustainable development, building capacity, reducing poverty, and eradicating violence.
The competition holds at the Nigerian Law School's Port Harcourt campus, bringing together law students from universities throughout the Niger Delta. Attendees include NDDC officials, legal educators, judges, senior lawyers, and former River State Attorney General Professor Zacchaeus Adango. The event provides practical legal training, encouraging students to think critically, understand the law deeply, and stay abreast of current legal practices.
At the NDDC, we design and move courts and mock trial competitions to stimulate legal issues related to the Niger Delta region, such as issues of environmental law, oil and gas law, sustainable development, and currently these ESG considerations, just to mention a few.
You must know how to win and to retain the respect and confidence of the court before you appear. To enable you achieve that, you must have a clear head, you must have a good memory, you must have a strong common sense and an attitude for analysis and the capacity to discern the essential issue or issues in the case presented to you.
Professor Adango challenged the students to embrace learning and highlighted the importance of comprehensive legal knowledge in their profession.
Is regarded as the most honorable and learned profession. The profession's honor, respect and integrity are sustained by public confidence and trust. The legal profession has no other heritage than credit, fidelity, and character and hope. The legal profession, for simply speaking, is not open to every man of persons, because as the student of God gave the education of kind of guest very popular to school, legal practice is a very serious business.
Executive Director Boma Iyaye emphasized NDDC's ongoing dedication to educational development in the oil-rich region.
I reaffirm the commitment of the current leadership of NDDC to continue to play strategic roles in the development of education, because it is only through these efforts that we can truly have sustainable development, build capacity, reduce poverty, and eradicate violence and crime in our region.
The competition officially opened with student participants announcing their cases, representing about 20 law faculties in the region. Each participant received the latest Nigerian weekly law reports and other academic resources.
Just 1 hour. In Imo State, 300 beneficiaries of the Agricultural Support Program under the federal government's Renewed Hope initiative in Imo have received agricultural inputs through the state government following a 2-day intensive training for participants and members of the Farmers Club of 4 students in Owerri, the Imo State capital. The items distributed to the beneficiaries include seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, farming tools, and other essential materials. The wife of the Imo State Governor, Chioma Uzodimma, who led the distribution exercise, emphasized the objectives of the initiative and highlighted agriculture's vital role in driving economic growth, reducing poverty, and ensuring food security.
These seminars equip participants with practical skills in modern farming techniques. The Farmers Club ignited a passion for agriculture among students, nurturing the next generation of farmers. The women and youth trainings empowered participants to embrace innovation and boost productivity. I applaud every participant for their commitment and eagerness to learn. Today, we take a bold step forward by distributing agricultural inputs to our beneficiaries. These resources are catalysts for transformation, tools to enhance productivity and create sustainable livelihoods. To our beneficiaries, I urge you to use them diligently, share your knowledge, and inspire others in your communities. By empowering women and youth, we are fostering entrepreneurship.
To some company news, Nigeria Distilleries Limited, a leading name in wines and spirits, hosted its 2025 Distributors Conference themed Stronger Together, Thriving in 2025 to ensure a prosperous partnership for the year ahead. The event, which held in Abeokuta in Ogun State, featured the exciting launch of Encore, a new product tailored to meet diverse consumer preferences, as well as the company's new logo. The management of the Nigeria Distilleries Limited, NDL, as well as distributors, all converged in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, for the 2025 Distributors Conference to facilitate connection and collaboration, which is aimed at success in the current economic climate. The event begins on a note of commendation for distributors, acknowledging their strength while addressing key challenges impacting operations.
You are esteemed partners, you are special to us, and you have a privileged position in our business. And so we want to safeguard and protect that and make sure that going forward, when we call you, we are calling only you, and will not have your wholesalers in the forum. They can take a separate forum because they are not as close to us as you are.
Management also highlighted its plan for the future, announcing its use of technology to eliminate incidents of adulteration and counterfeiting.
We may face challenges in 2025, but we will strive through them. Not apart, not in silos, but stronger together. Because at the end of the day, business is not just about buying and selling. It is about growing, expanding, and securing a future for all of us.
Over the years, I'm sure you will see that our equity was being eroded with so many counterfeiting, adulteration, causing a lot of issues around people's health. In fact, today the consumers, at that time the consumers said that they could not even distinguish which Siemens is the original in the market, except for the Siemens Royal. But what we have done is to take it a step further.
The high point of the occasion is the unveiling of Encore aromatic liquor and Nigeria Distilleries Limited's refreshed logo. This marks a significant moment for the company.
Encore comes into the market for the young Nigerians who are not restricted, who have ideas, and every day is a different day. Every day is a different feeling. Encore allows you to still keep, your enjoyment. It's 20% alcoholic per volume.
Some of the distributors expressed satisfaction with a mutually rewarding business alliance with Nigeria Distilleries Limited.
It's very, very okay. It has a nice taste. The product is good. The way I see it is good. Even the package, everything is good. And I'm assuring the NDA that it's going to move very well.
By this conference, Nigeria Distilleries Limited also reassures its network of affordable pricing without sacrificing product excellence. The NDLEA has confirmed the arrest of an 80-year-old man, Mr. Ayuba Ashiru, and an 82-year-old woman, Mrs. Uloma Uchechi Sunday, along with her 32-year-old daughter, Chisom Uchechi, for alleged involvement in drug-related offenses. According to a statement by the NDLEA's Director of Media and Advocacy, Mr. Femi Babafemi, Mr. Ashiru has a prior history of drug dealing. The NDLEA spokesman says that he was previously arrested, prosecuted, and served a 10-year jail term between 2014 and 2024. Mr. Babafemi explained that Mr. Ashiru was apprehended again in Kaduna State, where authorities allegedly recovered a total of 2.3 kilograms of skunk, a potent form of cannabis packaged in nylon and paper for retail sale. In a separate operation in Abia State, NDLEA operatives raided the home of 82-year-old Mrs. Uloma Uchechi Sunday in Tigazo village. During the raid, officials allegedly recovered varying quantities of methamphetamine, tramadol, and skunk, as well as a cash exhibit amounting to 130,600 naira from Mrs. Sunday and her daughter, the 32-year-old Chisom, who was also arrested at the premises. And now to the arts. Photographer and filmmaker Akin Alabi celebrates many years of craftsmanship in his solo exhibition at the Iwalewa Gallery in Lagos. The show, titled Makoko Through My Eyes, reveals a collection of vintage photographs and cameras. We see it on Art Review tonight.
Display of pictures and vintage cameras greet the visitors who have come to see Makoko Through My Eyes, which is how video director and photographer Akin Alabi has captured his solo exhibition at the Iwalewa Gallery in Lagos.
It's not as if they were acting for me. It's not as if I say, oh, pose, I want to snap you. They were just doing their normal thing. They were going about their normal everyday life. So my own job was to capture what they were doing, the way they were doing it, raw, unfiltered. And because I'm used to that style, I like that style a lot, where I don't want to even connect. I don't want to even be aware. I don't want the person I'm shooting to even be aware. You are living your life. I'm just there observing you and taking a record of what you are doing.
The informal settlement located on the coast of mainland Lagos across the third mainland bridge takes the spotlight, and this multi-talented creative was inspired to embark on this documentary project during a visit to Makoko.
I'm someone that is known for his visual ideas, you know. Looking back at 20 years ago when I became a video director, so over the years I've been using my eyes to, you know, to create music videos. And one of the places that I found fascinating, you know, to visit over the years is Makoko.
Akin is a man of many parts. He embodies creativity. When you think of the creativity, Akin Alabi is the name that comes to mind. Multi-talented human. He's a singer, an artist, video director, filmmaker. The list is endless.
The vintage items exhibited along the pictures is long-time hobby.
For like 7-8 years, I've been, you know, collecting a lot of vintage items. I developed a passion for vintage because I also believe in conserving history and archive, because a lot of times you say in Nigeria, people don't care about history. People don't even know about history. We don't keep records, we don't keep history. So I decided to make it a duty that, okay, I want to start collecting vintage items which reflects our lifestyle as a country, even from the 90s, from the 80s. So that is the ideology behind the vintage collection that we are seeing here.
The crux of this exhibition is to celebrate his 20-year journey in this field by displaying a documentary photography to antiques which show the evolution of his passion and encourages the preservation of history and culture.
Welcome to Sports News. The prestigious 2024-2025 English Premier League trophy has made a stop in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, thanks to Guinness, the official beer of the Premier League. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was on hand to receive the trophy at the State House Marina with top management team of Guinness Nigeria earlier today.
The English Premier League trophy has arrived in Lagos, Nigeria, following a successful tour of Enugu State in Nigeria's southeast region. Before being displayed to eager football fans across Lagos, Guinness Nigeria made a special presentation of the trophy at the State House Marina to the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The event was attended by members of the media.
This is one of the largest sporting nations, so there is no way that this trophy cannot come and be presented to the Nigerians for them to actually stand and feel this thing. Also, I'm very pleased to announce to you that 75 years ago, Guinness actually came to Nigeria. We're a 75-year-old company. We turned 75 2 weeks ago. And I think it's a lot of honor and pride for us to be associated with Nigeria.
Governor Sanwo-Olu praised Guinness Nigeria for the opportunity to bring the prestigious trophy to Lagos football enthusiasts just 1 week before the new champions claimed their prize.
You know, it's like a film that is not real. When you have the real trophy, not an AI-generated trophy, the real trophy of the Premier League in Lagos, Nigeria. It goes to show that there's something positive about our followership, about our enthusiasm, and about the development of sports in our country, but more importantly in Lagos.
Then the governor gets the honor of being the first Lagosian to receive the trophy from Guinness Nigeria.
The beauty about it is that Guinness has had a very long-standing relationship with football, and now being the official bear of the Premier League, we felt that it is important that our Nigerian fans and consumers who are extremely passionate about the Premier League have an opportunity to not only witness and experience the trophy and sight the trophy, but more importantly, have an environment where they can actually truly appreciate and enjoy the game that they love so much.
One of the things is that our consumers have football as a consumption occasion for Guinness, and therefore it just seemed like a natural thing for us to do, to have a partnership globally and that extended even to Nigeria.
Liverpool, the new Premier League champions, will be awarded the trophy on the final day of the season following their home match against Crystal Palace at Anfield on Sunday, May the 25th.
Our Nigeria's Flying Eagles may not have won this year's Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations, but they certainly won their third place after a 4-1 penalty shootout victory over host Egypt. Now, the third place playoff at the 30 June Stadium in Cairo ended 1-1 after 90 minutes before Nigeria kept their nerve in the shootout to secure their 5th bronze medal in Under-20 AFCON history.
Back to the centre circle. It's a good one, just about.
Former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, according to a statement from his office issued today, Sunday. The 82-year-old Mr. Biden received the diagnosis on Friday after consulting a doctor last week for urinary symptoms. His office stated that the cancer is classified with a Gleason score of 9 and has metastasized to the bones. This announcement comes nearly a year after Mr. Biden was compelled to withdraw from the 2024 U.S. presidential race due to health and age concerns. He remains the oldest person to have held the office in U.S. history. The Ukrainian Air Force has reported Russia's largest drone attack since the start of the full-scale invasion, striking multiple regions, including Kiev, where one woman was killed. According to the Air Force, Russia launched a total of 273 drones by Sunday morning, targeting central Kiev as well as 2 other regions. The attack occurred just a day before a scheduled phone call between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ukraine and Russia held their first face-to-face talks in over 3 years on Friday in Turkey, resulting in a new prisoner exchange agreement, but with little progress. Israel's military says it has launched the first stages of a major offensive aimed at defeating Hamas and securing the freedom of Romanian hostages in Gaza. This development came on the same day U.S. President Donald Trump concluded his visit to the region without securing a ceasefire deal. The Israeli Defense Forces said on its Hebrew X account that it had launched extensive attacks and mobilized troops for Operation Gideon's Chariots to seize strategic areas of the Gaza Strip, the expansion of the campaign in Gaza, and to achieve all the goals of the war in Gaza, including the release of hostages and the defeat of Hamas. And the main news again. Pope Leo XIV today promised to work for the unity of a polarized Catholic Church as world leaders gathered at the Vatican in Rome for his installation as the 267th Pope in the history of the Church. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. You have a good night.